welcome back into another episode of NA Now. Brandon Hofstra joined here with head coach of the El Paso Rhinos, Joe Coombs. Joe, first off, thanks for doing this. Let's get right into it. You just finished up your second year last year with the Rhinos. You guys finished third in the South, 82 points, and then made it to the playoffs. Lost, though, in the series against the Shreveport Mudbugs. But proud takeaway from last season, right?
Yeah, we'd come a long way. We've been there 2 years, and year one was, I guess you could say, trying. And then we got a good group last year. Really fun group of guys to be around, and we didn't know if we didn't think we had enough to win. My experiences and those last four teams are going to be really good, and we were good. I'm just not too sure we were real good, but we certainly gave it a heck of a try, and very proud of that group. So we made huge strides. Our culture improved drastically in regards to them holding themselves to a high level as teammates, and a lot to be happy with. So hopefully we'll continue that.
Yeah. Another, I guess, thing to tip your cap on is you guys had five guys right out of your team that made NCAA commitments. You've been around, you've been a coach for a while. I guess that's kind of a huge part of the job, isn't it? And always good to see.
Yeah. Oh no, that's why these kids are ultimately doing it. We had a couple really late that um were a little bit shocking that they didn't have anything before the season was over.
Hmm.
Um, in Tory London and Medrick Baldock. But they got everything they deserved. They just ended up getting it in June.
Hmm.
Um, so really, really, really pleased for those two guys. Well, pleased for them all, but certainly those two guys were, one was an age out 20-year-old Medrick, and the other was an 04 in Tory London. And they had to keep the faith, and they did, and we continued to work hard for them, and when they got their commitments, and now they're both going into school. So very proud of them, and we just need to continue that. El Paso's a long way away, and
Right.
college has got to work really hard um, you know, to see our guys, and it makes for a prouder moment when they do get it, just with logistics.
Yeah. Joe, the offseason came and went, like we talked about off screen. What are some areas of your roster that you guys paid attention to with the NAHL draft, with the tender system? And then, of course, having the NA3HL team in the same building as you, I'm sure you use that to your advantage as well.
Our draft, we had the opportunity to get a lot of guys back, which was something that um personally I'd never been in that situation before, where
Mhm.
you really have something to build on. Um, I've always been a believer within the USA hockey motto that you reload every year, you don't rebuild. Um,
Hmm.
I think with the expansion teams and the number of players that we do lose, um, that reloading process is something that got challenged with our first year there. It wasn't our group. And then last year we could have had a big number back, where losing some kids to college, which is great. Um,
Hmm.
it was we knew we had good goaltending coming back. Both kids returned, and Michael Manzi and Joe Lavulo. And then we also signed a kid by the name of Tyler Hodges. Um, and then our entire decor, um, other than the age outs, came back, which I think we finished last year with one on the IR, and everybody else, I think we got six back.
Hmm.
Um, so I guess you could say we upgraded one or two spots there, along with what we got back, and then our forward group. So our defense and our goaltending, we were very, very pleased with. We felt like it was a place of strength. Um, our forward group, on the other hand, is I guess you could say hopefully reloaded.
Yeah.
Um, it, it's a it's a fine line in our league, with what we do, and the number of kids that that come back or think that the green the pasture's greener somewhere else, I guess you could say. Um,
Hmm.
so really happy with where we're at with our defense and goalies. Um, Pleased with our forwards. Just a lot of new faces. We're not sure, exactly at this point how it'll all come together. Um, in regards to using our NA3 team, it's a difficult task. Um, we have another team in our building, and a lot of the kids in our league are drafted to these teams.
Hmm.
Um, and we end up, not, I think the first year we had some issues where we tried to use the team and players just belonged to other teams, and the trade requests were extremely high priced for the player to even go play some games there. Um, Last year we used it much more to our advantage with a couple kids. Um, Kyle Arias, a kid that should be a top guy on our team this year, played probably the first 18 games of the year or so with the NA3 team, and then joined our team,
Yeah.
in a top six role, and played really good hockey for us. And really that expectation's really high for him this year. Um, we had one or two others we had put there in the import capacity. Um, that we tried to use, but then some rule changes came through and we weren't allowed to use them. So,
Hmm.
there always sort of seems to be a hurdle, I guess you could say, that is unforeseen from the year before. And again, it is what it is. I'm not
Right.
complaining. I'd like to use it more, but at the end of the day, it's not that easy. And it's a tool that we've certainly talked about as an organization that they'd love for us to help out more, and we try, but with players belonging to other teams, and it's just not as simple as walking in and saying, "Hey, son, you want to go play here for a couple games and keep your confidence up
Right.
and your development. Let's not slow your development because you're going to miss some games with us. Let's keep it going." And that's just easier said than done.
Yeah. Joe, you've been a part of the NAHL for quite some time. What do you think of when you think of 50 years of the North American Hockey League?
Oh boy, I guess I've been there for a tenth of it. Um, I the league has changed just in my 10 years. And I say this with complete respect, but it's just changed from where we were, I guess you could say 13, 14, yeah, 12, 13, 13. So I guess it's been 10 years for me. Um, it's changed a lot. They the number of teams has changed. um the fabric of hockey has changed.
Hmm.
um it's I can certainly speak on my 10 years. I don't know if I can speak on the 50. um I was in junior hockey for 13 years before that, so I guess I've been around the North American Hockey League for 23 years, and either in it or around it, and it's
Hmm.
certainly something to be very proud of. The league has demonstrated terrific growth. Um, with whether it be the number of college commitments or just growth in itself. And I know before I was in it, we were looking. I was always looking at it from a stability standpoint, and they've done that with
Yeah.
franchises that have been around longer. I
Hmm.
guess you could say there was a time in uh, where they tried to expand, a little insecurities, and went sort of back and forth in numbers, and now they just sort of seem to be going in the right direction and growing. Um, but it's certainly a league that um, provides an athlete and a coach with a lot of opportunity.
Hmm.
Um, and there's certainly a lot to be proud of. In that 50 years. I know it's gone from being an Eastern League to national,
Hmm.
logistically now. Um,
Yep.
there's a lot of airplane rides. There's a lot. There's a lot that goes on. You have the umbrella leagues with the NAPHL and the NA3, and it's just coming off a long way. And
Hmm.
we've certainly tried to grow at the times, and we're looking to continue to grow. So, I'm not sure I'm the best one to speak on that, other than the 10 years I've been around. It's been a really good league, and players should want to play in the North American League. Um, it just produces good young men, and it's a
Yeah.
difficult league. Um, there's a lot to be proud.
Yeah. Joe, we talked about 50th year. The season kicks off here in September, and you guys built a great foundation last year. How excited are you to get this ball rolling?
I'm excited to get going to play hockey. I know that.
Hmm.
I don't know if I'm excited for the 108-degree weather I'm going back to. um, El Paso's a special place. Yeah, we're a bit off the beaten path, I guess you could say. It's a
Hmm.
beautiful city. Um, for the people out there, I think it's a top 5 or top 7 safest city in the United States.
Hmm.
We're at 3,800 feet, high desert, lots of mountains, and we sell out most every game. It's a
Yep.
great environment. I don't think you'll find a single player that didn't enjoy playing home games. But it's a big city.
Hmm.
I'm looking forward to going back. I live in New York in the off season, and in fact, I'm in my New York residence here now, and um, I really am. I'm looking forward to getting
Yeah.
hockey, but I
Yep.
can tell you the first month in September, um,
Hmm.
it's hard to wrap your head around hockey when it's 100. Well, I shouldn't say that, but you're walking into the arena at 6 in the morning and it's 85, and you come out at 2 o'clock for lunch or whatever, and it's 105, and I know
Yeah.
the players enjoy it because we're fortunate enough to have that kind of weather all year long, except October, and as you get into November, it gets to be low 80s and then high
Winter.
70s, and yeah, so we're
Hmm.
really lucky. And our ice sheet is this might be the craziest statement I've ever made in my life, but our ice, other than in the month of September, is probably the best ice in the league. I
Wow.
know that's crazy because of the
Hmm.
weather, but our owner is one of the 20 best ice makers in the world, and he does a phenomenal job and takes an awful lot of pride in our ice. And I can tell you it's fast, and it isn't anything like McAllen. I can tell you that, where the top temperature of the ice was 28 degrees and the puck wouldn't slide. So
Yeah,
um,
that sounds fun.
there's a lot to be happy about for sure.
Yeah, yeah. Well, Joe, Texas misses you. We're excited for this upcoming season, and we'll see you in September, my friend. Thanks for doing this.
Absolutely, anytime. Thank you.